Well, Politico is reporting that the top strategist for 2024 presidential candidate Ron DeSantis' super PAC, quote, privately told donors that Vivek Ramaswamy posed a threat to the Florida governor and bragged that the super PAC was behind opposition research targeting the rival candidate. Ramaswamy's spokesperson responding to that report saying, quote, when DeSantis' super PAC, Chris Christie, the New York Times, MSNBC, the rest of the bipartisan establishment are all going after you at the same time, you know you're right over the target. Well, joining me now is former New Jersey governor and 2024 Republican presidential candidate Chris Christie. Governor, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
Yeah, your response to this new Politico report and the infighting that is certainly starting to emerge.
Well, that's competition among the candidates, as you know. But look, the thing about the DeSantis campaign is that, you know, the people who work for him spend more time talking on the record than he does. You know, he had this whole, Hurricane Idalia situation, which, as you remember, I went through, significantly bigger Superstorm Sandy, and we didn't hear much from the governor during that time. But his campaign worker has enough time to go on there and talk about the dirt he's throwing on Vivek. Look, in the end of it, the candidates decide these races, not the analysts, not the campaign workers. The candidates do, and Governor DeSantis has been having his problems, and I think that's why they're trying to distract with any other process story they can get.
I want to go back to Florida and that issue of hurricanes with you and Sandy in just a moment, but I want to stick with this Politico report, because also within this was interesting from Politico that Chris Christie is actually gaining support for president from Democrats.
Look, you know, the fact is that we're gaining support all over. We're at 14% now in New Hampshire, in second place, clearly ahead of both Ron DeSantis and Vivek, and only 20 points now behind Donald Trump. He's only at 34% in New Hampshire. And so we really believe that's where we're going to make some real ground, and we're going to continue to do that. And look, we're going to need support from Democrats and independents to win the presidency in 2024. In 2020, Donald Trump lost much of the support that he got from Democrats in 2016 and much of his support from independents. You know, when I got elected in New Jersey, I got 61% of the vote in a blue state, 70% of the independent vote. And so the fact is that's the kind of coalition you have to put together for the Republicans to win the presidency again. That's why I'm the best candidate. I'm the only one on that stage from 3 weeks ago that's ever beaten a Democratic incumbent.
And we're going to see you on the Fox Business stage coming up very soon. We'll get to that in a second. But there you are at the Fox News debate where you had some definite zingers, which I'll get to in just a moment. But you mentioned the polling and mentioned your game in New Hampshire. I want to talk about that because one of the last 538 national polls showed that you have gained 3%, but that's still behind Tim Scott, even Mike Pence. This is one particular poll, and of course the former president. But you were telling me that really New Hampshire, that is the focus, that is the game, and that's where you think that things are going to really change. And you point back to your experiences in 2016 when you ran for president.
Sure. Look, in 2016, early on at this stage, Jeb Bush was winning in New Hampshire and Scott Walker was winning in Iowa. And Donald Trump came back, nearly won Iowa against Ted Cruz, won New Hampshire 2-1. It changed the entire race. And if you look at what we're looking at now, national polls, with all due respect to the people who pay for them, are useless at this stage. And I want to remind people who remember this from 2016. In 2016, Donald Trump never led in one national poll in the general election until election night. And the reason for that is because we don't elect presidents nationally. We elect presidents state by state by state, both in the primary and in the general election. So Donald Trump never led in any poll. In fact, didn't win the popular vote in 2016, but got 306 electoral votes, and he was the president of the United States. We're going to focus on New Hampshire and South Carolina. That's where our focus and our time is going to be spent. And we believe we can make ground there. We believe we can win New Hampshire.
What has your experience been in Iowa? Because to your point, it is early. We just got through the Labor Day weekend. A lot of folks were on vacation. Maybe Americans aren't quite yet plugged in to what's happening with the GOP primary. Did you see that when you were out on the road? Because I always think to myself, if somebody wants to be president, spending all that time in Iowa, New Hampshire, and shaking every hand and kissing every baby, I mean, it's a huge commitment, obviously. But it's one that you and the other candidates have made.
Yeah, it's what you need to do. And, you know, the fact is that the voters in those early states is what they expect. I remember in 2016 having a woman say to me, I'd been to her home twice. She did 2 house parties for me, and I said, so are you ready to support me? And she said, we have a rule, we don't support anybody until they've been to our home 3 times. So this is what they expect in these early states, and so that's what you do. But that's why you can make such a difference in those early states, because people really get to know you. They get to know you up close. But what I will tell you about the atmosphere now is I think people are really cynical because of the Biden years. He promised to bring the country together. He separated us. And I just saw I want to comment on what you just saw in San Francisco, if I can, because, I was a prosecutor for 7 years. The level of crime in this country is unacceptable. Our major cities are being absolutely destroyed. And I will tell you this, if I'm president, the Attorney General is going to take over, but through the U.S. attorneys, prosecuting violent crime in each one of those major cities. If they won't do it themselves, we're going to save our cities and save our American cities. We're not going to leave it to these liberal prosecutors in the cities who believe that 1,700 car break-ins are acceptable.
Yeah, and they're not, and I agree with you on that. You mentioned President Biden. I want to get to that for a second with you. There's this new Wall Street Journal poll. 73% of voters say that President Biden is too old to run.
Yeah.
Your response?
That means 73% of the people are really smart because he is too old. That's the bottom line. He's just too old. And you see it every day in him. You see the way he walks. You see the way he handles himself at press conferences. You saw him fall asleep sitting across from the Israeli president with an entire scrum of reporters in the Oval Office videoing it and taking pictures. The fact is, no one beats Father Time. And we have 2 leading contenders in each party who are both too old. 78 is too old, too, for Donald Trump. We don't need 2 candidates who are going to be 160 years old running next November. And by the way, in that same poll, I think it was 70% of the people said they didn't want the matchup to be Trump-Biden.
Yeah, that is true. The Wall Street Journal poll, talking about how bad the economy is right now, we saw that as well. I want to get back to what's happening within you and your competitors within the GOP field. You actually called out Ron DeSantis yesterday. You were talking to my colleague, Brian Kilmeade, on his radio show for not meeting with President Biden during or after Hurricane Idalia in Florida. And then Vivek Ramaswamy brought up former President Obama's visit to your state after Hurricane Sandy. So listen to this and respond after.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
the same type of amateur.
Hold on.
So he's talking about the hug that you gave at the time, and you're saying not so fast.
Well, look, first off, we didn't hug, but people have seen that picture now for 10 years, and there it is. Let me tell you something. In Jersey, that's no hug. I can guarantee you that. In New Jersey, we hug. If I had hugged him, you would have seen me bear hug him. But here's the thing. You look at what was happening on that day. $36 billion in damage to our state. No operating water treatment or wastewater treatment plants. 2/3 of our citizens without power. All of our schools closed. 365,000 homes destroyed. Let me tell you what a governor's job is. It's not to play politics. The governor's job is to get your state rebuilt and get your people to recover. Ron DeSantis played politics because he didn't want a picture like that with Joe Biden. Well, let me tell you something. I wouldn't be afraid of that. I'd love to have the picture taken with Joe Biden. And then the next picture would be me beating him on the debate stage in November of 24.
I do want to ask you about some breaking news we had this morning. Russia's Vladimir Putin speaking by phone to Saudi Arabia's Prince bin Salman. They're cutting oil again. And obviously, this is something that's going to have a lasting effect on the American consumer gas prices, which we've already seen been jumping. Your response to this new meeting, it's a foreign policy question for any presidential candidate. It's also a consumer question.
This is a total Biden failure, right, in 2 respects. One, cutting domestic oil production and making us much more susceptible to moves like this by the Saudis and the Russians. 2, he has ruined our relationship with Saudi Arabia. If he had had a better relationship with the Saudis, they wouldn't be making this deal with Russia. But he's sending a message. The Crown Prince is sending a message to Joe Biden. You want to have a good relationship with us? Well, we'll have a good relationship with Russia. Last point is this. The Trump, DeSantis, Vivek foreign policy, where they say they're going to go work with Putin to end the Ukrainian war. Well, Putin doesn't look like he has any interest in working with the United States. He's cutting oil production to hurt gas prices for American citizens and to fund his war against Ukraine. That's why I say we go full bore behind Ukraine, give them every weapon they need to win this war, and put Putin back in his place. I'm not going to coddle him like Trump did and like DeSantis and Vivek want to do.
But real quick before we run, 50% of Americans are now saying they don't want to give more financial support to Ukraine.
Well, then what they're going to be confronted with, that 50%, is going to be confronted with a war in Taiwan. Because that's what this is. This is a proxy war by China, who is funding Russia in this war. They want to see if we're tough enough to take them on in Taiwan, or then go and take Taiwan. We don't, and if Taiwan happens, we're going to be American men and women over there fighting. We don't want that.
Governor Chris Christie, it's always good to see you here in New York.
Great to be back.
Yeah, all right, we're going to see you on the debate stage. Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to it.
Do not forget, you want to tune in for the second GOP presidential debate. That's going to be right here on Fox Business on September 27th.